should niche and underrepresented pubs do to mitigate the risk of being further
I think
marginalized?
what publishers have to do is assert their will and relevance, regardless if they're in the listing or not within the listing. They have to make it very clear to brands the value propositions they bring contextually as content producers related to an audience that a brand wants to do. And they need to start doing that in a verticalized sense. You got to remember the idea of this top 100 is not done in a verticalized manner, meaning is that the top 100 for automotive, for CPG, for beauty? Is it for banking and finance? Is it for healthcare? And is the difference between pharma and consumer health? I mean, what do we sit here talking about? Because some of the categories I just named completely out of bounds from this list. They would look at it and say that really helps us with nothing. So again, we get back to this idea of decision. Brands exist in a category looking for consumers who are making decisions in the context of that category. So I would rather see a ranking of the top sites, domains by all the 50 verticals of life we live in. That is more useful and relevant. Give me all the top travel ones, in particular from a means of conversion, a means of stickiness, or we'll call it attention. That's more useful. And I think what people have to understand is when people make choices, sometimes what is useful is more important than what is true. Let's just say this is the top 100. This is the best. That's great. But is that useful for my end market programming to find this consumer to hit revenue goals and sales goals? If it's not, I can't really put too much into it in terms of the investment of time. So what I think publishers need to do is double down on creating information that is useful to a marketer to make decisions to put money into them as a marketplace. This doesn't better organize the marketplace. What this does is create a threshold up here that seems to reward and spotlight a few. A marketer needs you to organize a marketplace around consumer opportunity so they can invest and put money in it. And when you don't do that, then they're not going to necessarily do that. So I think we have to, in retrospect, look at, okay, this is nice. This is cute. I'm not mad at the trade desk. I don't even blame them. I mean, if I were at the top of the dominance hierarchy, I may do something the same. I would think what people have to do is start to synthesize what level of meaning they can really extract from this, but how this doesn't necessarily change their marketing playbook. And I think we're just in an era where people need to define their own playbook for success and outcomes, regardless of what is necessarily published as the best of the best. Because look, a lot of people still make a lot of revenue on Google, cost per click, pay-per-click ads. Is that premium? Maybe not necessarily. YouTube TV may be, but it doesn't mean that. But look, if that's where you're getting the greatest amount of return value, then the truth is in the numbers.